What is up, guys? So we are back at it. It is another week, another game hunt. Let's get out there, see what we can find. Let's go. What is up? My name's Brad and this is Operation N64. Now, if you guys are new to this channel, in this series, we're trying to build an N64 collection starting off with just £10 by using our charity shops, our car boot, our Facebook marketplace, looking for stuff for cheap that we can sell for a profit to build a game fund to buy N64 bangers. Now, as always, before we get into this week's video, we're going to do the updates to the game fund, and we actually have some. For like the first time in I think 3 or 4 weeks, we've made some sales, which is fantastic. The first thing we sold was a copy of Street Fighter 4 for the Xbox 360. We sold that for $6.99 plus postage. And then if you remember that huge lot of I think 28 WWF VHS that we picked up, for £3. Now, I kept 8 for myself, the late 80s, early 90s stuff I kept for me. I love the covers on them. So I lotted the rest up and it was a total of 20 VHS. Stuck them on eBay and on Facebook Marketplace just to increase my odds. Stuck them on Marketplace for £40. Someone came in at an offer of 30 and I took it. That is 10 times as much as I paid, so I'm definitely not going to complain. So we sold all them VHS for £30. Now, after fees and everything, that's a grand total of this, to add to the game fund for a grand total of this. Not too shabby, it's keeping us afloat, which is great. And just another note on them VHS, the dude that picked them up, he actually bought them for like decoration in his shop. He's just opened like a retro clothing shop and he wanted to have like all old school stuff up on the walls, and he had like skateboards, and he wanted to put these like VHS up as well, which is pretty sick. So I might try and pop in there, take a look at the stuff and maybe try and take a picture of where the VHS are now, just to sort of see where they go after they've left my possession. Bit sad maybe, but I think it's cool. And after jabbering on too much, let's get into this week's video. Let's go. So like the creature of habit that I am, we started off this week, just as we start every week, by hitting my favourite charity shop first thing in the morning. They had a few more games in here than they did last time. A couple of decent games as well. Alan Wake, I started playing the remastered version on the PS5 before I moved house. Yeah, a few different games here, but nothing worth picking up, unfortunately. But always good to see more games going out. It means they're constantly getting new games in, which is fantastic. But yeah, unfortunately on this occasion, there was nothing really worth picking up. I then headed up to Merthyr. I haven't been to Merthyr in quite some time. I had to pick up a couple of deliveries from their B&Q and the Argos up there. Didn't have them anywhere else. So when I'm there, it would be rude not to hit the charity shops. And unfortunately, no games in this one. I checked the DVDs and the pricing on these DVDs was a bit mad. This Stargate box set here for £8. It's only worth like £4. But yeah, some of the pricing was a bit mental. But always nice to go somewhere different, somewhere you don't go often to game hunt. It was a nice change. I popped into this charity shop, hardly any games on the shelf, but then I asked the lady, as you should always do, have you got any more games? And she popped upstairs for me. Oh, perfect, thank you. So yeah, guys, it just goes to show you should always ask. I know it can get you down sometimes because you ask every time and you just get told no or nothing. But yeah, just keep asking. Consistency is key. And she brought down this huge box of games, £1 a piece. And I was just pulling them out. Unfortunately, a couple of them didn't have anything in the cases and they weren't worth picking up case only. But yeah, really nice to see what an absolute win this was. I was buzzing when she brought this down. And £1 a game is just the best price ever. So yeah, just always ask. I can't say it enough. Yeah, so it just goes to show, always ask. I asked the lady in the shop, she went upstairs, she was up there for quite a while, and all I was expecting was disappointment, but she came down with this huge tub, PlayStation 1 games galore. So yeah, always ask, always. So after that win in the other charity shop, carried on looking at the rest, and just not a great deal out there. Continued asking, as I just said I should, always ask, but I continued asking everyone, but unfortunately they didn't have anything. None of the charity shops had any games out the back. Cool little graphic novel here, £4 on it though. If it was cheaper than that, I might have picked it up. And then some VHS from a guy who doesn't collect VHS. I think I'm going to concede and say I do collect VHS. Some cool Thunderbirds ones here. Joe 90, I don't really remember that one. Stingray I remember. Thunderbirds, but Joe 90, don't remember that. Do you guys remember that? And while I was up there, I popped into their CEX. They had a decent selection of games, some nice stuff here. Unfortunately, no N64 games, like boxed N64 games. I think I just had the one. I think it was Track and Field. But I didn't want to buy it really, not yet. I'll probably have to get it eventually if I'm going for that full set. But yeah. Cool little PS2 collection here, a couple of Silent Hills, Project Zero there. And then I popped into Regenerate. I don't normally film this because they're normally pretty poor in my area around by me, but I saw something in the window which I think eventually I want to get. It is a The Last of Us Special Edition PS4. I love this thing. I love The Last of Us. My mate Nicky has one, and every time I see it, I gush over it. So yeah, I have to, I think, get one of them eventually. But yeah, cool to see. Popped inside. I said not a great deal in here. I did check out the games on the wall, you know, the cheaper games, just to see if they were slipping on any, but unfortunately they weren't. And then I popped into town. I think this was another day, a couple of days later. I popped into Swansea town. I had to do a trade at CEX, so I'm obviously going to check the charity shops while I'm there. A few games on the shelf here, but my God, the prices on these was mad. They had Rock Band, I think it was Rock Band. Yeah, Rock Band, you're going to see it in a second. Rock Band for like £6. It's like a £2 game or something. I don't know where they get their prices from, but yeah. Let's see, that's £6 for Rock Band? Nah, it's not going to happen. One Wii U game here. Unfortunately, it was beat up and not really worth anything. They have a huge selection of DVDs in here. I didn't fancy going through all of them, but I did see this one and it was worth picking it up. And then I saw this Shred, Tony Hawk Shred, the board. It was a tenner, a bit too pricey for me. Very cool item, but there was a ton of rust coming out the battery pack on the back, so I did leave it behind, but kind of cool to see. There guys, so I'm just going to go do a CEX trade. I've got a couple of bits from last week. I'm going to hit the charity shops on the way. Anything I find, I'll just add to the trade. I've already found one DVD, £2 into £4, so let's have a look. So yeah, I checked all the charity shops as I made my way to CEX. £1 games in here, not bad, but nothing of note, nothing worth picking up. I think they had a Gears of War, wasn't worth picking up that. But yeah, nice to see a little box of games here for £1. In a town centre, finding games for £1 is kind of rare. Normally around a £2-3, maybe a bit more. But yeah, cool to see. And then I'm checking football boots, because football boots can be worth a little bit. These, I think they're called Mercurial or something like that. These boots can do really well. They had £8 on them, but the pair I found, the only pair I found for sale on eBay was up for like £6. I then headed into CEX. Again, no N64 games unfortunately, but they had a nice little selection of stuff. They always have a decentish selection of Sega, but no N64 games, no boxed ones anyway. A few PS1 games here, some Sega stuff, some GameCube stuff. I then headed into Action Console, cool little shop in the market. Take a look. Yeah, live action console, wicked little shop. And then on my way back to the car, I saw this one, Hellboy comic. Yeah, 2-3 quid on it. Cool little comic, but didn't pick it up. Oh, someone's a bit bitter. Doesn't exist. And we are back in the game space, and I'm very happy with how this week has went. It started off pretty slow. I wasn't expecting much, but it just goes to show, guys, if you're in these charity shops, always ask. Always ask. You see nothing on the shelves, ask a member of staff. Any more games at the back, just be polite when you do it. And you never know, you might get lucky like I have this week. I had just the one charity shop win, but it was a hell of a win. I'm very chuffed. I'll get into it very shortly. Now let's do the updates to the game fund, how much we spent. Now we spent a total of £13 that we can deduct from the game fund, but we also done a little trade in at CEX of I think £26 that we can add to the CEX fund. So still in pretty good shape. CEX fund is growing, trying to knock that Conker's Bad Fur Day off. I want to get the most expensive game knocked off the list. Going to work our way down then, I'm thinking. I don't want to be left with the really expensive ones at the end. So let's get into what we picked up this week. Like I said, we spent £13 on stuff to resell, plus there's a couple of bits for the collection. So let's get into it. Now, the first thing's probably the most boring thing, but always a good pickup. It is Mario Kart for the Wii. It is in a reprinted case. It came from CEX, so I'm hoping they'll take it back and trade. I can't remember how much you get for this, but it's somewhere close to a tenner, so not too bad at all for £1. And then the rest was PS1 games, man. She just brought this box down and I was pulling out PS1 after PS1 after PS1. It just doesn't happen, and it was a fantastic feeling when I saw it all. Now, the first one is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Now, it's only like a £5 game on the PS1. On the PS2, it's like a £45, £50 game. So keep your eyes out for that. It is complete. The box is a bit battered, as it is the case with most of these games. But as long as all the stuff is there, we can always change the box out. Great little pickup for £1. Every game was £1. She came down to £1 a game, so I was pulling them out like I'm taking them, regardless of condition or anything. The next one is Croc, Legend of the Gobos, I think that's how you say it. I love these games back in the day. I have fond memories of playing Croc with my sister, I believe. Great little game. I'm not sure on price. I'm not sure on all these prices. I'll stick them up on the screen if I can find them. But yeah, for £1 for a PS1 game, I'm picking them up all day long. The next one's probably one of the better ones. It is Tekken 3. I think I have this already as well. This is like a £20 game in CEX, £13 trade-in. It is complete. Box again is a little bit battered, but that's not a problem. Great little pickup. The next one is Hydro Thunder. This is a classic, it's a Midway Classics. Look at this up here. Second hand, £6 or less when you bring in your old games at Chips. What the hell's Chips? If anyone knows what Chips is, doesn't ring a bell to me, but if anyone knows what Chips is, this is where it came from. But yeah, Hydro Thunder, I think it's still like a £6 game. Looks kind of interesting, looks kind of fun. It's a racing game. Very cool. The next one is A Bug's Life. It's a Platinum Edition, this one. But again, I think this is like a £20 game as well. Could be wrong. But again, like I said, I have to do my research on these before I sell them on. But for £1, I'm not leaving them behind. We've got Actual Pool here. The Zoo Classics, Actual Pool, all of these are complete with manual. Another good one here is Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Again. I think this is like a £20 game also. The box has seen better days, but it is complete. I thought about keeping this, but I can't keep everything. Next one is another Platinum. It is Medal of Honor. I'm not sure. I'm sure when I look this up, it's about like a £10 game maybe. Again, I want to do my research and spin up before I sell them on, obviously, but very cool. The next one is Toka 2 or Toka 2 Touring Cars. Not very exciting for me, not really a fan of games like this, but had to pick it up, man. And this one's in pretty good condition, to be fair. Complete as well. The next one is Micro Machines V3. Now, I considered holding on to this. I might keep it. If I do, I'll stick £1 back in the game fund. I love these games back in the day. I remember playing them more on the Super Nintendo and on the Sega Mega Drive. But very cool. Love the art style on this. Love the tracks, like being on a dinner table and stuff. This game just gives me such great nostalgia. So I think I'm going to keep it. I don't know. I think about it, but it's probably going to end up in my collection. The next two, unfortunately, weren't complete, but one of them's a pretty good one. It's SpiderMan II. You've got the manual, the cover art, and the disc, but the back cover is Scooby-Doo, and the Cyber Chase, which is a shame. But again, I'm not going to leave it behind for £1. It's a cracking game. If I can't sell it, I'll keep it. I have no problem holding on to Spider-Man 2. And the next one has no cover art, but it is Micro Maniacs. I think that's what it's called. Looks a fun looking game. Again, I'm not going to be able to sell this without the cover art, really. Or I probably could, but I don't know. Yeah, cool looking game. Definitely something I'd have a go at. I have to think about what I'm going to do with some of these. But very, very cool pickup, man. I was chuffed to bits when she came downstairs with them. Like I said, always ask. You never know. The worst thing to say is no, isn't it? The best thing to say is 1 minute. I'll be back in a second. I'll have a look, and then they come back with this. Yeah, fantastic. I couldn't believe it when it happened. It is my only win of the week. Sorry. Just this one pickup. The rest of the charity shops I hit, I couldn't find anything. I said last week I'm trying to branch out away from games, but I'm always going to ask for games regardless. But I didn't see anything else not game related to pick up either. And let's get into the couple of things I picked up for the collection. Now this, I think I just forgot it was in the stack when I took it to the till, but it is Robin Hood's Quest for the PS2. I don't know, it's like £1. I think it was only worth £1, so I paid £1 for it. Not really sure. Let me know, guys, if you played it, if it's any good, but I don't know. I think I just forgot it was there. And the one PS1 game I kept for the collection most definitely was Time Crisis. It is the Platinum Edition, but it doesn't bother me too much. I can't wait to set up the PS1 and play this. I love shooting games with the light guns. I love games like this. I've got 2 and 3 for the PS2, and I want to get hold of number 4 as well. Love the Time Crisis games. So nostalgic from the arcades. Banging. And then now I'm going to concede to the fact that I collect VHS. Every time I buy VHS or pick VHS up, I always say I don't collect them. I do collect them. There it is, Brad. You do collect them. Stop trying to deny it. So I picked up one VHS. It's not going to interest a lot of you, but it is the very best of Chelsea. I'm a Chelsea boy, Chelsea fan till I die and all that. So the very best of Chelsea, 1970 to 1994. Blue is the colour, of course it is. Now, funny thing, when I opened this, and I looked at sort of the length of the tape, the length of the VHS, it's really, really small. Like, it's only 55 minutes. So to have the best of like 24 years in a 55-minute VHS says something, doesn't it? Had to pick it up. It's Chelsea. It will look cool with all my other VHS when I have them set up in the games room. So yeah, very cool. And that's everything we picked up this week. Very happy with what I picked up. Very happy to add some more credit to the CX fund. Now hopefully if we can sell a few of these PS1 games or trade them in or whatever, we'll have enough money then to get Conkers or at least knock another game off the list. But yeah, very happy with this week. And as always, guys, if you take nothing from this video, always ask in the charity shops. Just ask. What's the worst that can happen, innit? And if you guys are enjoying this series, as always, let me know by smashing that like button. Consider subscribing to the channel. And as always, be rad, stay rad, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.